Hey, how's it going? Welcome back. So I had an MMC Thunderclash review planned, but I've been really busy with school and work, plus I got sick, so I never really started it. So instead, due to high demand, I now bring you Mastermind Creations, not Tarn. And I've been wanting to do this review as a comparison with the newly released Legacy Tarn, but I haven't been able to get my big brown hands on them. Plus, I can't justify that price point. So for the meanwhile, today we'll just be looking at MMC's Tarn, if you don't mind. But before we begin, consider liking, subscribing, and commenting, because it really means a lot. Anyways, this magnificent edgelord is an original character from IDW Comics more than meets the eye. He's one of 5 members of the Decepticon Justice Division, which is a group of Decepticons as sadistic as the IRS, in charge of hunting down traitors to the Decepticon cause. And the sight of his iconic copyrightable mask, another defining trait about IDW Tarn has to be his unwavering loyalty to the Decepticon cause, if you couldn't tell. And that loyalty goes hand in hand with his love for Megatron, because to give you an idea how hard Tarn was simping for Megatron in the comics, when Megatron transitioned into an Autobot because of lore reasons, Tarn couldn't believe it until he saw the new Megatron with his own eyes. And this revelation shook Tarn so hard, it made him almost want to deactivate himself. But obviously he didn't, and instead went on to become one of the most iconic villains of the franchise, in the last couple years anyways. And once again, go read IDW. It's still worth it. Okay, maybe not all of it, but it's still worth it. Anyways, the painting and sculpting on the figure is on the money like always with Mastermind Creations. But what is out of the ordinary here for Mastermind Creation standards is the paint, as MMC isn't really too known for their paint. So to see gold, silver, gray, purple, and white, with the coolest of all being these pink accents applied everywhere, evocative of the flowing energon as seen in the comics. And not only are all of these accents not visually overwhelming, but they're applied extremely well. Except for the white on his forearms, which is sadly chipping away. But hey, I could totally retouch it up myself. But for the meanwhile, I'm just gonna thug it out. But once again, the sculpt is still glorious from the front, back, as everything on this figure feels so well designed and thought out. Except for, in my opinion, the mask, which lacks the curvature that was seen in the comics and was designed in a way where you can't even really see the eyes, which is really disappointing to be honest. Which, yeah, I get it's supposed to be a removable mask, but when a figure the size of my dick, Make Toys Tailgate, has a removable and better looking mask, a leader-sized figure like this doesn't really have an excuse, especially because we know they could have done it better. But I can kinda let it slide, because like I said, it's easily removable, the figure's kinda old, and yada yada yada. Because I will say the sculpt underneath is quite nice. But before we unmask him, how about some size comparisons first? Cause here he is with my last review, which you should totally go check out. Please. Flame Toys Leo Prime, my custom Desperado. His mold-mate Thunderclash, who we'll be looking at soon. One of his DJD homies. And some other of my IDW figures, which, if you'd like me to review, consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. Plus, hitting that bell. Now for the big reveal. Beneath this paperplate looking mask is Roller. Okay, so I'm not exactly sure when this figure was designed, but it looks like it was at a point in time when we all collectively thought it was going to be Roller, just by looking at the designs side by side. And also because in the comics it seemed like Alex Milne wanted to use Roller as a sort of Harvey Dent, in order to have a Dark Knight scenario where even the best of people could be corrupted by evil, which in this case was Megatron instead of the Joker, baby. But because of the fact that everyone kinda already knew the big reveal, they changed it at the last second with who? That's right, background character Glitch. Now, I like a good plot twist, but this reveal was ass. Because not only did it not make sense from a visual standpoint, it just didn't make sense, period. Because the character really was nothing more than a plot device that didn't even get any semblance of character because he mattered so little. So to see him be Tarn kinda spits in the face of Tarn as a character, and all the buildup of Roller as Tarn, which, as predictable as it would have at least been a bit more satisfying. Anyways, sorry for the rant, back to the review. Okay, so the face wasn't painted for some reason, considering it's obviously trying to be roller, so it's definitely something I'll have to paint alongside the forearms in the future. As for a more accurate head, you'd have to buy MMC's Megatron for the glitch head, which doesn't look as nice, but is apparently more accurate. Now, Tarn doesn't have too many accessories, but what he does have is this big old cannon, which is a tribute to his beloved Megatron. And he can also hold these separately because they connect via a big-ass 5mm peg to this thing right here. Anyways, one of this figure's best features has to be his articulation, because he has a ball joint at the head connected to a hinge because of the transformation. Another ball joint and hinge at the shoulders, which isn't the prettiest but gets the job done. Bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, and the arm cannon side generally isn't that impeded, so it's kind of the same. Ball joint at the wrist, pinned fingers, a beautiful ab crunch, unlimited waist swivel, and ratcheted universals for only the back and forth movement, but not for the beautiful spread. Thigh swivel, a ratcheted double jointed knee that has more range unlocked if you move these shreds to the side. And last but not least, these big ol' stompers tilt and pivot at 2 different points. The articulation is generally aged really well, except for the shoulders that look rather awkward in some poses, but are really easy to forget once you start posing him because of how sick and dynamic this guy looks, which can also be said about his tank mode. Because like all MMC transformations, ingenuity and simplicity is the priority of the designers, and Tarn is a prime example of that, with big, satisfying movements, along with tight connections and a clear set of steps that get you one badass looking Cybertronian tank that isn't a mesh of plastic with treads and a turret, but a genuinely slick and evil looking tank that feels solid. Cause once again, that color scheme shines here as well, maybe more so than the robot mode, now that the white has been hidden inside, letting all the other paint accents take center stage. And if we come here to the front, he's got this cool little gimmick with these opening hatchet thingies that open up to reveal removable missiles, which is cool, but I'm never gonna take out, because my horny ass could never resist putting these in my ass. In conclusion, despite this guy's age, I'd say he still holds up really well, and I've heard some people kinda want a version 2.0 of this guy, but personally, this figure already feels perfect, with a few minor criticisms that are just borderline nitpicks. Cause if you find this guy for a cheap price, get him. Cause yeah, he's totally worth wasting your food and rent money on. Not that I do that, or did that, cause I totally make responsible financial decisions that won't leave me in crippling debt. Anyways, thanks for watching. Okay, so, I'm back. And I'm planning to upload a bit more frequently, but just haven't really decided on an official upload date. So for the meanwhile, go drop a follow on my Instagram or Twitter, where I say things that'll most likely come back to haunt me in 3 to 5 years. Anyways, see you next time.